Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Hope everyone's doing good today. Today's video I'm going to be making a little shaker card. I'm participating in the Team Tiny Holiday Hop 2021. Please make sure to visit all of the playlist for all of the other wonderful creators that are taking part of this hop. This is the card that I'm making today, and this is a little shaker card, little bear and some snowflakes, still in the winter spirit. So we'll go ahead and get started right away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two pieces of my Bristol Smooth cardstock, and this is actually 6 by 4.5. The first piece I'm going to ink blend, and I'm going to be using Distress Oxides. I'm going to start with Kitsch Flamingo. I'm going to blend the bottom, and the blending doesn't have to be perfect. This will be trimmed down later, but you want to just lay the color down, and I'm kind of taking it a little more than halfway up. And I do have the video sped up because, well, I value your time, and it's a hop. I'm going to just flip it over here, and I'm going to go in with the speckled egg. I'm going to do the same thing, and then I'm going to blend the Kitsch Flamingo and the speckled egg together so that they kind of make a purple. So I've got kind of a gradient blend going on here. And I apologize for the ouchie on my hand. I got bitten by a cat, and oh boy, that thing. It's right in a spot that just keeps coming open. So I've got a butterfly bandage on there to try and help it stay together so it'll heal. Now I'm just going to clean off my mat here. And I'm going to start on part 2. So this, I have my Simon Hurley Stitch Snowflake stamp already in my stamping platform, and I'm going to lay my paper down and just kind of measure, you know, eyeball to make sure I cover the whole piece of paper. It doesn't matter if it's crooked or not. They're snowflakes, but I do want to make sure I cover most of the paper. I'm going to go in with my Versamark, and I'm not even going to use an anti-static powder on there. I don't need it. If anything is stray, it'll be fine because it's snow. And it's white on white, so you really wouldn't be able to tell anyway. Well, it's actually kind of crystal on white. So I'm just going to rub this down really well with my pressure tool here. Make sure that it's all covered. I'm going to pick it up, move my MISTI aside. And I'm going to grab my little tray that I use, and I'm going to go in with this Judikins embossing powder. And it's an iridescent. It's an old bottle, but I use it, you know. I got it last year. And you can kind of see the sparkle on there. And I'm just going to dump this back in and get this stuff out of the way so I don't have an accident. And then I'm going to just go ahead and emboss it or heat it with my heat tool. I want to keep the heat tool moving. I don't want to burn any of the glitter. But you can see kind of the glitter turn when you're heating it, so you know that it's done. But you do want to, when you've got a whole piece like this, you want to make sure you've got it all. And then I'll test it. I'll just give it a light rub. Everything's sticking, so we're good to go on that. And I am going to trim this down to 5 3/4. Yeah, 5 3/4. And I'm going to go to 3 3/4, I think, because I want my stuff to fit. There we go. So now I've got my piece here, and now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting out. Now I have this little piece word here, and I apologize, I have no idea where that came from, but I do have my little bear, and that came from Sizzix. The piece was in my stash. And you just want to make sure that nothing's overhanging. It doesn't really matter if the word is even with the outline. Just the outline and the bear need to be even. I'm going to take this over to my cutting tool. What is this? Vagabond 2? And I'm going to go ahead and cut out those pieces. This is my first hop, so I'm excited. So there's my cutout pieces, and I'm going to save that little bear for a different project. And I'm just going to pull my little piece out of there, make sure that it's going to fit in there just fine. And I'm going to set that aside. try and pick up these little stray pieces here. So what I'm going to do now is I need a piece of acetate, and so I'm going to trim the acetate to fit. It doesn't have to fit perfect, but it does need to fit around my words there, and my word and my bear. And I decide I'm going to trim this down just a little bit more. See the acetate, so I'm holding the card underneath just so I can see the edges of where I need to cut the acetate. There we go. Check for fit. Yep, fits. Okay, terrific. Set aside those other pieces for other projects. And I like to wipe my acetate off because it picks up everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red line tape, and I'm going to, basically I'm just going to cut off a long piece and just start taping around the top and the bottom cutout. Mostly because I want those to stick to the acetate tightly. So I don't want them to be floppy. That's why I don't do around the corners. Doesn't matter if the acetate isn't all the way down around the edges, because we're going to be putting, you know, more tape on it, but I just want to make sure that it's down right along the center of the words. And yeah, I'm good with that. It's going to fit. Yep, it's going to fit. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off this red tape backing, and you'll have to see me battle a little bit about that, because that stuff is slippery with the tweezers, and it gets everywhere. There we go. Try and pick it up, can't pick it up. I don't like to pick stuff up off my mat with these tweezers because they're sharp and I don't want to poke a bunch of holes in it. Okay, I've got that set. I'm trying to set those other pieces aside there and get them out of my way. Grab my acetate, lay it on there so it's even, and just give it a good press. Okay, so now I've got my acetate pieces. We're not worried that the back piece is big because we're going to be trimming that down. So I'm going to do what you do, and I'm going to find my, I've got this 1/4 inch, or maybe it's even an 1/8 inch, these strips from scrapbook.com. And I'm just going to start laying the strips around, because I don't want shaker all over the card. I just want it, you know, where it can be seen. I don't want to waste anything. Though we like the sounds of it. Let me get this on here. And just, you know, make sure that the edges are touching. And this stuff is cool because you can, if you take the backing off, you can kind of bend it. And it'll mold to where you're trying to go with it. And I do use quite a bit of backer. You could just cut a backer out with some fun foam if you wanted to, but I didn't, so that's that. So I'm just laying this along the edges as well. And I'll tell you for the future, and I've made 2 of these, trim, if there's any sticking out, trim it off, because it does stick out, and you can kind of poke it back in, but I'm not crazy about the sticking out part. And you see here, I'm either trimming it or laying it, trying to bend it around so that my words are nice and boxed in. And I'll take some of these excess pieces and lay them here and there. Fill in the spaces, get the edges. I mail most of my cards, so I do like to make sure they're pretty secure and they don't get smushed, but there's really no avoiding that. It's okay, I'm not mad. It is what it is. That's today's world. So I need just a little bit more. Yeah, I need a little bit right there. There we go. A little here. And just a tiny piece right there. Okay. So I'm ready to go with my embellishments inside. So I have this Simon Says Stamp Chunky Glitter. I have these Honeybee Moon Dance Confetti Mix. And then I have Random Brand, who I don't know, in my stash of these kind of silvery sequins, sort of iridescent, I don't know, mirror maybe. And they're kind of faceted, so they're pretty neat looking. So I'm going to grab just a few of those, and not too many of my honeybees, because I'm stingy with those guys. So just a few, and then just a tiny bit of glitter. And then I'm going to just start peeling the backing off the tape. And if your sequins or your stuff jumps up onto your tape, just pick it off before you lay everything down. It's kind of hard to take the tape off when there's no place to put your finger to hold down the card, so I kind of just hang on to it there where the sequins and stuff are. And what I can see here is that there's a space right there that I'm not thrilled about. So I'm just going to take a tiny, tiny piece of this little foam tape and just kind of place it there so it blocks that gap. I don't want to lose all my glitter in all those crazy channels. And pick up the, see, they like to jump around. I'm going to continue to pull off the backing. And then I'm going to take this piece and I'm just going to kind of center it eyeball. And I'm going to lay it down. And now I'm going to trim off all that excess. See, there's the spot where it kind of sticks out. You probably can't see it, but I can see it. And if I can see it, then it bothers me. And I'm just going to line up the white part with the little plastic guard and trim around. There we go. You can save all those strips for other projects. I'm a person who saves a lot of things, so I have a lot of stuff everywhere. It's trying to find it later is tricky. I'm going to glue that down to a white card base. See, I'm trying to tuck that in right there a little bit, but I don't want to accidentally bend my card. So I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive. I do use Reptile adhesive. Use what you have. This is just what I've always used. And I'm just going to get that all nice and even on there, good and stuck down. And then I want to put my piece word on. But to do that, I am not going to use glue because it's going on to acetate and I don't want anything running out. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my artist tack and peel apart part of the backing off of it. Make sure the sticky side's sticking up. Lay my word down and then just kind of burnish it in. And I like to take and kind of bend the artist tack to get it to start to lift. And then I'm just going to lay it down here so that it's even and give it a press. All right, all it's left to do is just some embellishments. I've got these are, what are they, Moonlight, Moon Dance? Seize the Day, neither. And I'm just gonna lay some glue dots, or dots of glue, I should say, in the middle of the some of the snowflakes, the larger ones. I do want to kind of get an odd number here. And so I have small, medium, and large. I'm only going to be using the small and the medium. I'm just going to place them down in the little glue dots that I made. Small, medium, just kind of random, but kind of not. I mean, thinking about the space between things. Oops, I had two stuck to that one. There we go. We'll pick that up. And there we go. We've got our card done. I'm just going to put away my mess here so I don't lose any of my beautiful embellishments. And here's our little piece shaker card. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to visit the other hot videos.